The purpose of this video is twofold. First, I want to discuss the way I see the culture shifting, how the left wing pushes a ridiculous idea and it is met with criticism. And then 6 months later, the right wing accepts and sometimes pushes this idea or behavior. This idea or behavior then becomes solidified in our culture and becomes our new normal. This formula happens over and over again. I will cite a few simple and obvious examples, but there are many, many more. Don't believe me? For years, the left screamed that the Confederate flag was racist. Some shooting happened somewhere, and then the right finally ceded the ground saying, "Oh, well, I guess it is racist." All of a sudden, the Confederate flag was taken down everywhere, almost overnight, and it is now even seen as a hate symbol. A few years ago, thinking the Confederate flag was a hate symbol was a kook and fringe idea. Now it's solidified in the popular culture. Blackface. Blackface can be racist, sure. It can also just be in bad taste like many other Halloween costumes. But this idea that blackface is always racist was considered an idea of assholes. People would be told to quit crying and mind their own business, that my Halloween costume has nothing to do with you. The left screamed and screamed, making it taboo, leading to even more laughs when someone put together a well thought out and comical Halloween costume. Then this happened. And all of a sudden, the supposed right, in quest of a scalp that they would never get, screamed, "But that's racist!" Now this idea that blackface is always racist has become solidified in our culture. It can even be grounds for getting you fired from your job, if you're not a repentant leftist, of course. For a long time, the left has went through people's social media accounts. If they saw you in a picture with someone they don't approve of, they would demand that you apologize. Sidebar, I can't believe that Trump didn't have an effect on all these limp dicks and they haven't learned to never apologize yet. Anyway, apologizing for a picture you took with someone is a ridiculous idea, not to be taken seriously. Then this happened. And Michael Knowles felt like he had to apologize for taking a picture with someone. This is exactly the supposed right acting like the left, adopting the culture of the ugly people. The left would also claim that by debating someone, you were giving them a platform. The left wing would refuse to answer questions they did not like. Those are right-wing talking points. They wouldn't allow opposing views in their events and would have people removed from their events. Their ridiculous views are so illogical they can't stand up to even topical scrutiny. Now the supposed right is doing this. Charlie Kirk asking Nick Fuentes to leave because he doesn't like the questions he has to ask. I have seen for years the slide of the Overton window all the way to a very, very confusing place. This is exactly how it happens. The alleged right, or the opinion leaders and personalities, reject an assertion put forth by the maniacal left. Then a few months later, they give up ground and the Overton window slides. The purpose of this video is to bring to light the fact that this is happening over and over and over again with a broad spectrum of topics throughout our entire culture. And this is exactly how we have gotten to where we are today. Tell me in the comments if you could think of more places where exactly this has happened. It is up to all of us to stop this slide and start pushing the window back. When this weakling says,
"Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15.
It's up to the right to say, "We think automatic weapons should be legal." That's how you push the Overton window back. Instead, the current right says, "Well, how about if we ban bump stocks? Would that be okay?" And the Overton window slides further and further as our rights get eroded more and more, and we get closer to some kind of left-wing hell state, basically becoming like a national California. The left thinks we should have Medicare for all. Your response should be, we should deregulate the entire healthcare industry. The left thinks blackface is racist. Every right-wing commentator should wear blackface on their next show. The left thinks we should teach 7th graders about anal sex. Our response should be to eliminate the Department of Education. If you noticed, this is exactly what they do. They play for keeps and they play to win. All the right says is, we just want to build a wall, no more illegal immigration. We can keep regular immigration, no more illegal immigration. The left says defund ICE, defund the immigration enforcement. It's time to stop our slow slide and start pushing back. It won't be too long before someone on the right talks about our Green New Deal. That buck-toothed commie comes with an insane plan. It pushes the window way to the left. Then the rest of the Hate America candidates say, I have a Green New Deal too, it's more reasonable. Then since everyone's ideas and thoughts were pushed so far, their slightly less insane plan seems somewhat reasonable. It's not. This is an intentional strategy. That buck-toothed commie is saying ridiculous things for a reason, to make the rest of the maniacal left seem reasonable. They are not. Please see it for what it is. It is engineered this way to move an entire population's thoughts in one direction. See through it. Help others see through it. If you don't start pushing the window back, we will continue to go down this intentional and pre-planned path of this insane maniacal power cult. The second purpose of this video is to make a request of all the opinion makers and people who watch them. I'm talking about Crowder, Shapiro, Fox News people, Andrew Klavan, Knowles, Glenn Beck, etc. All the mainstream people who have some juice. Think of them what you will. I do not think highly of most of them. My request is that we all in unison stop the outrage carousel and start reporting our own news. Here's how a typical show or ticket to the outrage carousel goes. Did you see what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said today? She said that we have to mandate only having one child and killing everyone over 65 to save the earth in the next 10 minutes. And here's why this is outrageous. Then they go on for 10 minutes to debate the merits of whatever some insane maniac said today. The formula is getting old, and all it does is mainstream the ideas of these lunatics. The outrage carousel keeps spinning because it generates clicks. It is solely done for the money, even if it is disastrous for any kind of right-wing cause. Just be honest with yourself. How has this outrage carousel style of coverage been working for all of you? In what direction has the culture been moving? I'm asking that we all stop. That we stop supporting content creators who are selling tickets to the outrage carousel. Even our some less mainstream internet people do the outrage carousel, but I leave them out because they're better on a lot of other issues. They're not liars. They're not lying for money. Even if they're wrong with their ideas, they believe them. So I'm leaving some of them out of this. It's time for people on the right, even the fake mainstream right, to stop the outrage carouseling and start reporting your own news. You don't have to be a slave to the CNN narrative anymore. Here is an example. Donald Trump shows everyone just how crooked Joe Biden is with his Hunter Biden Ukraine energy company scandal. Joe Biden abused his power for personal gain. He clearly abused the public trust. This was a disqualifying action. CNN and the DNC came up with their damage control called quid quo pro. And the entire right-wing media starts screaming, there was no quid quo pro. There was no quid quo pro. After all this time, with all the viewers and popularity you have collectively gained, you still let CNN and the corporate media dictate what you're going to talk about. It's like the right-wing media have internalized that they're not the news. And what CNN says is what's true, and that's what must be talked about. This is not the case anymore. It's over for the corporate media. Start acting like it. Quid quo pro was a left-wing response to a very, very damaging story. It should have been treated as if that was their left-wing response. Instead of all the right-wing correspondents running with their tail between their legs and saying, no quid quo pro. Oh, no, there was no quid quo pro. The right-wing response should have been, what are you talking about? The real story here is that Joe Biden abused the public trust for personal financial gain. Was there a quid pro quo, you say? Are you pretending like we just give money out to other countries out of the kindness of our hearts? Grow up. Trump is draining the swamp. He isn't investigating his political rival. He's investigating a horrible government corruption, and this is exactly in line with his campaign promises. Then, the entire right-wing media hammers over and over again. Hunter Biden, unqualified, making $50K per month. Don't you wish your daddy could get you a job like this? Joe Biden selling us out, making his own family rich, and playing the video of Joe Biden bragging about getting that prosecutor fired over and over and over again.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money.
Right-wing media should have never said the words quid quo pro. It's irrelevant. You are just spreading the left wing's damage control. It's time to stop. It's time to move on to the next phase of right-wing media. The phrase where instead of backpedaling and playing defense constantly, we are dictating what the story is. That's how you win. That's how you move the culture. Time to grow up, right-wing media, or keep slowly losing ground. Or maybe losing ground is actually exactly why you are where you are. If you like this video, sub to my channel and share it. I'd really like to quit my job someday and do this full time. I've got some big ideas. This is The World According to Tony. I'm Tony. Thanks.